Hey Harmonizers, welcome to this awesome Mustang video. You might be looking at a fjord, but just in the same field, but deciding to lay in the dirt instead is our little Mustang Aoife. So Mustang 8640, who we've named Epha, and she's hanging out with her other buddy. So it's kind of funny because the two Mustangs are in this part of the field on the dirt, whereas the fjord was on the other side. So I'm going to show you a little clip of how I catch her in the field. It's a really positive experience. I want her to think that people approaching her are really kind and, no reason to want to run away or anything like that. So I basically offer her dinner, and she gets to have a couple little bites. I've got my rope there ready, and I'm not rushing her at all. She takes her little bite of food, and I really think that she needs her teeth done. I'm pretty excited to get her teeth done because we're working on getting her tamed and gentled to be ready for that. And I suspect because of the difficulty she has eating grain, like it seems to kind of get stuck in her mouth, I imagine that she's got some pretty sharp points that will really benefit from some dental work. And you can see as she comes to eat the grain, I politely clip the rope up, and I just make it a completely non-stressful thing. I clip the rope up, but she's still eating, and it's completely slack. I'm petting her and stroking her a little bit. She gets a little worried sometimes, and I just continue stroking and just kind of politely work my way over there. Like when she was like, I don't really know about my head being touched. And you see I'm just very polite and going under her chin and touching and reassuring her and just having lots of little touches just to make sure that it's all starting on a super positive before we go away. So I'm not just walking up and clipping up the rope and pulling on her. I'm making it a more of a bonding experience. And so this is her just kind of finishing up some of her grain, and you can get a really good look at how she really seems to have it stuck in her mouth and just takes a long time chewing, or she seems to kind of be licking and trying to move stuff around in her mouth. And it'll be really interesting to see how this changes after she gets her teeth done, once the vet comes to do that. And so a part of this session that you guys are going to see is being handled by somebody new, because in order for her to be ready for the vet, we've got to get her doing really well with other people, because she's doing super awesome with me. I can approach her in the field. I want you guys to take a guess, and you can drop it in the comments. Do you think when I walked up to her in the field when she was laying down, was she still laying down when I got close, or did she stand up when I got about 10 feet away? So let me know in the comments, and then you'll be seeing by the end of this video, I'll show you what that looked like. So this is in the little side stall now. I'm trying to get her used to coming in for grain, because I'd like her to be able to get caught by our staff and brought in for our daily chores to get her daily food, just to help with the handling piece, other people being able to handle her, and in general just being comfortable in here with her food. So she's just eating her little food, and I'm practicing petting her legs and starting to pick up her legs, because after the teeth, the next thing, the big one, is to start getting her feet done. And I really want to make sure that it stays a successful experience. I don't want her pulling her feet away. I don't want her being super panicked, and I want to make sure she's ready and prepared. So the fact that she's still kind of fidgeting with me picking up her legs, even though she doesn't try to kick me, or we're kind of past all of that. This is all just kind of, why you gotta pick up my leg? I'm gonna fidget over here a little bit, but nothing horrible is happening. And so I've got to work on that a bit more before a farrier can do that. And so this is now Jess, who is leading Miss Aoife around. So this is her first time being led around by somebody else, and she's got her little food bucket there. And so I'm having her do things a little bit similarly to how I do sometimes, which is I'll walk and then I'll give her a few bites of her food, and then we'll walk and do some more bites of her food. So it's not that she's following the bucket of food. Instead, it's used as positive reinforcement to try to help there be a positive association. So you do something, and then you get a little reward, and then you do something and you get a little bit of a reward. So not following the bucket per se. So here you can see she's walking away, and Aoife's kind of like, but my mom is standing over there holding the camera. And so she's got to convince her that she can actually follow her. And this is interesting because this is actually towards the paddocks. The paddocks are there on the left-hand side of the screen. You can kind of see the shelters in the background there. But that's the direction back to her buddies and the field, like where she's happy to be. But because I'm standing holding the phone filming, she wants to come back over to me. So for me, this was actually pretty adorable to watch, and kind of felt a little special because I'm like, oh, she really wants to be over where I am. And so eventually she moves a little bit, and she's just trying to get her legs unstuck. And so I said, okay, well, why don't you turn her back towards me, and then she can have a little bite. So she had to take a couple steps, but then she got to turn around towards me, take another bite, and then she'll get to move again. And when Mustangs are learning to have touch from other people, it's definitely a thing where they can bond with a specific person and then be very wary of other people. And for me, it just kind of depends on timing, schedules, all sorts of things before I start introducing new people into the mix. And now I'm like, okay, we really need to start introducing new people because the vet's going to be coming. And I think from the time I filmed this, I think it was maybe 2 weeks away that the vet would be coming. And I'm like, okay, I want her to be ready for that. I want it to be successful and calm. So we really got to get the comfort level with different people to start happening a little bit more, because she definitely gives new people a little bit of side eye and she needs to get comfortable. And you could see there when she did her second loop, it went much smoother. So using some positive reinforcement helps and speeds things up a little bit. The positive reinforcement in this case being the little bucket of snacks, and makes it really enjoyable for her, because we're trying to avoid those really scary moments that can sometimes happen with horses, especially with training Mustangs, where there can be big dramatic pullbacks, panic moments, just being, skittish, spooky, startled, all of those things, because they're not used to this domestic life and all these different people and all these different things happening. And so I'd rather it be an experience where, all right, I came out and that was a little weird and I had to follow her over there and follow her over here, but I got snacks, so it was a pretty good deal. And the snacks help the horse release endorphins and feel good. And as they become more and more comfortable with people, you don't need as much food for positive reinforcement. You don't even have to have food as positive reinforcement, but it just speeds things up a little bit and helps them realizing that being with humans feels good. And as all this is happening, she's also learning her manners for when it comes to taking food, because that can be an issue people have sometimes is, oh, my horse is going to become a cookie monster, so I have to not use cookies because otherwise they're going to be in my pockets all the time. What I always try to explain to people, it's a lot like how kids need to learn to say please and thank you. And some kids are going to be a little easier to say please and thank you, and others need a little bit more repetition, but ultimately we need to teach them please and thank you. They aren't born knowing please and thank you. And same with horses. We need to teach them what please and thank you looks like from the horse-human relationship with food. We can't expect them to know how to be polite. So we have to teach them all of those little pieces. And you see she's doing really well. She likes getting her snacks, but she's not, pushing the person over or anything like that, trying to get to the snacks. And the walking is going better with Jess going around there. And Jess is a volunteer at our farm, also a student at our farm. And she loves just being around the horses and learning more about them and connecting with them. And it's great having her help. And it's definitely a win-win, because Jess is loving the experience of getting to be the first person to lead a new Mustang and learning more about what that's about and how to walk and where to walk, all those little pieces. So she's enjoying getting to have these experiences and the extra little bits of learning. And I'm loving having somebody that's able to help out and be part of this experience. And that means that we can start making this progress towards being ready for the vet. So you can see all of that went a lot better, because remember just a couple minutes ago when she tried to lead Epha going back towards the paddocks and going away from me. She was really reluctant and didn't want to go. And now it's going a lot better that she's actually walking with her quietly back to the fields. You can see she pauses a little bit there, going around the corner, but overall she's leading back with her. And then I wanted her to try leading her into one of the outdoor stalls, because that's what a staff person would need to do, is lead her into the outdoor stall. And so that went really, really well. And you might be thinking, why do you have outdoor stalls, Lindsay? And the answer is we like to have outdoor stalls because they're right next to the paddock. So they're super convenient for feeding the horses their dinner, because we do bring the horses out for a customized meal. Not all of the horses on our farm, but the ones that the owners want them to be on daily chores, as well as my horses. And it gives them their vitamin supplements. It allows them to get any extra calories that they need. But for the most part, it's getting the daily vitamin and mineral supplements. So it went really easy going in there. So now it's for her to catch her. So this is going to be the first time for her getting caught by somebody who isn't me. So a totally different thing. And of course, now her dinner is all done. So this is catching her without using any food. So a little bit different than when I catch her in the paddock. And I do have her bucket of snacks there ready to have as a positive association. But you can see she was able to connect the rope pretty easily there. And now leading her back out. So all of this is looking pretty promising for starting to get her ready to come for staff to do daily chores. And I do like them to be pretty easy for going in and out. I want to make sure that there's going to be no issues, because I don't want to ask somebody to try and catch her in the field and bring her in for chores and have an issue, because if that happens, I need to be around to help follow through and get Epha inside and understand that it's okay to be caught, all of those pieces. If I have other people starting to handle her too soon before I'm there to assist, then they might run into issues, not know what to do, and need some guidance along the way. So I'd rather get these things all working a lot better. Like even there, how she hesitated going into the field and was like, really, you want to take me through this narrow gap? And then I could just, tell Jess, like, just be patient, wait for her, give her a moment to just think about what's happening, and then allow her to go through. And sometimes people just need that guidance. And our staff that does our daily chores, they're definitely horse people that are comfortable with horses, leading horses, but they're not horse trainers. And so there's a difference between a horse trainer and a horse person or a horse rider. Horse trainers have the experience with the super green horses, or horses like this, where they can be a little upset about different things, and they have an understanding of how to work with some of those things. Whereas our staff that have done little bits of training here and there might not know what to do with a Mustang, because it's, a totally different level of intensity and skittishness that can come up. So I want to make sure she's just really prepared for that. So now I'm going to show you guys a little video clip of what happens when I get within 10 feet as I approach her in the field. So you can see her little friend is laying down beside her. And as I get close, her little friend here is going to get up, because she's, sees me coming along. But I love how relaxed both of them are, because I got really, really close, and it's not like they quickly sprung up to, get away. Instead, they're just like, okay, hi, Lindsay, nice to see you. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.